Hi, Nikki here, Director of Dance Like a Mother and Slinger Baby Consultant. So I'm going to show you how to do a rucksack style carrier today, and I'm going to show you with the Ergo baby. So the first thing is check your carrier is okay. So you want to check all the buckles and the stitching and just make sure that everything's alright. So every time you get it out, just in case there's been any accidents or anything's happened, you want to make sure it's working nice and safely. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Okay, so the second thing you need to do, this is the 360, is we want to make sure that it's wide enough for baby to go knee to knee. So all that means is that baby's knees are higher than their bum, the weight's in their bottom, and they're nice and supported all the way across. So it does give you a gauge on here of how wide to take it, but what I would say is use your own judgment and test it out and see what works for you as well. So I'm going to, a lot of them do have Velcro, which is great. Some of them do have buttons, so I would make sure it's at its widest setting. So we're going to do it inward facing, so just make sure it's at its widest setting if you have a button one, and otherwise you're just going to use this Velcro here. Okay, so something that's quite a common issue with Ergos and quite a lot of rucksack style carriers, people wear them far too low. So the first thing I want to do is check how high I want the waistband. And the way I can do that is by picking my baby up. So here's Chi-Chi. So we want to check by having baby's head on the hard part of our chest. So you should be able to kiss baby by literally just tilting your head. If you're having to lean down, baby's too low, you want them nice and high so they're nice and safe and you can check on them. Make sure her hands are up. I'm supporting her with her back here, and the other arm I'm just going to scoop her knees higher than her bum. So it's a bit like if you were putting baby on your hip but on the front, and she's nice and central. So now I can see roughly where I want the waistband to be. So she's going to sit here, so the waistband wants to be quite high for her. Obviously the tinier the baby, the higher you want them. The longer or bigger the baby, the lower you can have it. What I'd say is if you've got the insert as well, just be aware that the insert for the Ergo is very, very padded. What I would say with that is just be really careful of layering. If your carrier is quite thick, just remember that your baby's clothing may need to be less. Even if you're outside, just be aware that it is quite padded for those tiny babies for the insert. So I'm going to pop it down. So I take my waistband, like so. I'm going to put it quite high. You'll see that there's a lumbar support that comes with the Ergo, so it's really protective and it's quite firm. Something that people forget a lot is this extra safety bit here. You've got an elasticated bit. You're going to go through and you want to really hear that click. And then you're going to tighten it. It wants to be tight enough that you could probably just about get one finger in there. It wants to be really snug. Another issue we find with Ergos in particular, but a lot of buckle carriers, is people don't have the waistband tight enough, and what happens is it slants downwards and then baby's not in a supported position and it can hurt your shoulders and back. So this needs to be nice and straight here, as you can see. And this is very central. We're making sure this is really central and it's wide enough for baby to sit in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is make sure that my arm straps, that they're through the safety elastic and that they're clipped in and they're safe. And I want to make sure I can get my arm through here because I'm going to show you how to put this on with the back strap attached. This is a really common thing that people struggle to do, the strap at the back, and this is a really easy way to do it. Like with anything, it just takes practice. The calmer you are, the more relaxed you are, nice slow breathing, you can sway side to side and take your time with baby, the easier it will become. You and baby will both get used to it and then you'll be doing it like that in no time. So I'm going to attach the back part. I like to have mine about where my bra strap is, but everybody's different. Some people like it quite high up, some people like it lower down. All this should be doing is stopping the straps from falling off your back. It's not holding anything particularly in place. We're just making sure those shoulder straps. And I'm going to make sure it's quite long, but I've got enough that I can grab it. Okay, so I've got them attached, and I've got my back strap attached like this, and we're all clipped in. Okay, so once I've done this, I'm going to get my baby. I'm going to put cheek, cheek. And what I'm going to do is make sure she's sat nice and high. So her knees need to be higher than her bum. We're bringing the legs out. And she's nice and central. And I'll know if I've got the range of that right, because here it should be going knee to knee, which it is, which is good. If not, take it off, take your time, make it wider, make it smaller. Just make sure that it's fitting here. So her knees are higher than her bum. She's nice and central and straight. Her hands are tucked up and her head is rested on my chest. She's got her head to the side and I can see she's okay. At this point you can sway. Nice slow breathing. Try not to bounce. It's really common for parents to bounce. It's quite overstimulating. So just swaying side to side, taking your time. And then once I've got her here, she's really well supported. I'm going to just support with my back a bit more. I'm going to take my hand underneath and sit her here. And I'm just going to make sure that she's bottomed in here and she's sat down. One of the issues with Ergo is that it can tilt the pelvis away. You want the pelvis to be tucked under. So I'm just going to grab her thighs. And it's like I'm tipping a glass of water away. And as you can see, her toes are pointing up. If the toes are pointing down, they're not sat on their bottom. They're not having that pelvic tilt. So we just want to make sure they're sat on their bottom. And then at this point, I'm going to take this back strap. Are you ready? I'm going to take it over my head. So I'm supporting my baby. And I'm going to take my arm through one side and my arm through the other. So my back strap's already on. I just want to check now that she's in a comfortable position, she's supported, and that she can breathe. Okay. So at this point, this is where you just make sure that baby's in a really good position and nice and straight. Once you've tightened it, it's going to be a lot harder to do. So she's nice and high, she's knee to knee, her pelvis is tilted, otherwise I would do the pelvic tilt again. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is tighten these straps up. So I'm going to pull in the direction of the cord. Some carriers do go this way as well, which can be quite helpful. I'm going to pull this way. There we go. And I'm going to get it to a point where it's comfortable for me. I'm quite petite, so Ergos tend to be a bit big on my body. I can't always get them tight enough, unfortunately. But I'm going to get that as tight as I can. And I'm just doing nice little adjustments. I'm not yanking it one side and then the other. And then at this point, because I've left it quite low, as you can see, I then just need to pull. To stop those from going over my shoulders. And now she's nice and comfy. So she's breathing, she's happy, I can see her, I can kiss her by tilting her head down. I'm hands free, I can make any adjustments I need to now. And I'm nice and comfy. You'll also find that these Ergos and quite a lot of other buckle carriers have these little extra bits here, so a little elastic. So what they're for, because everyone's like, what are these for? You can roll it up like so, and then use the elastic to go round, and it just keeps it out of the way. Lovely. And that is how you fit an Ergo carrier or a rucksack style carrier with taking over your head. So we're now going to take the carrier off and we're going to just do the opposite of what we did before. So we're just going to loosen it off. Like so. Holding baby the whole time. I'm going to take my arm out and take it back over my head. Try not to get my blood in the way. There we go. And then take baby out.